Now, supposing you've got a film that you've already made and you want to improve, you've already seen how to do the music, how can we improve the picture and so on? Well, you've got a button here called Enhancement, and it's got our old friend the magic wand there. I'm going to click that, and we get all sorts of weird and wonderful things here. So let's take you through these. First of all, you've got a split screen, so you can see the original film on the left, or you can ever pause it, and the changes you're making on the right. Now, some of these are not going to be relevant because this film's relatively good, but I need to show you the various options. Very simple one. If you've got a film that was filmed in too much light or not enough light, this auto fix button, one click will really improve your film. And it's not as well, let's say there's programs that are hundreds of dollars that don't do as well as this free one does, and it's all done in the cloud using a massive amount of processing at YouTube servers, so far better than anything you and I can have in our home studio or whatever. So autofix will make all sorts of changes. At any time you can revert to original. If you've got a film that is very wobbly, you film from a bicycle or a handheld camera, the stabilization is amazing. You've got original and preview, you can change the fill light here, you can increase that, saturation, color, temperature, contrast, all those things. One of the greatest things about it is you can trim this film. So I'm not happy now with this film as from there, let's say. I can click trim. I can bring that in to wherever I want to come in, which is perhaps there. And I can click done. And I've now got rid of that title off the beginning. So there's a bit of your film you don't like, you can see the film starts right wherever I want it to. Again, before I save, I can press revert. This is all done in the cloud. And you'll see the original film is still there, so it's very easy to delete some bits. If you've got some of the stuff that is facing the wrong way, use an iPhone and do it the wrong way, very easy, rotate left, rotate right, and you can make a heck of a difference to your film there. I'm just going to show you one other thing that you can do. For this, I'm going to just bring in a bit of this film, maybe one of these street scenes here. Let me just check that. Let's get the people moving here. Again, this is low quality at this stage. Kill the sound. Just going to use that as an example. So I'm just going to trim that a little bit because we've got an amazing tool here, which is a slow motion tool. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go to 8 times. Now, normally when you're using slow motion on movies, what your camera actually does is your camera films 8 times the normal speed and then plays back at normal speed. And those sort of cameras are quite expensive. Well, they're scarily expensive. With this, you can slow motion down, and using the power of YouTube servers, you can actually, in simple terms, it guesses where the intervening picture should be. So normally you're taking roughly 24 frames per second. This is taking 8 times that, so 200 frames a second. Just have a look at this. This is the original on the left and the preview on the right. Can you see, if you slow it down, how jerky that is? Look how they do it, how smooth that is. They're actually interpolating the individual scenes. You see how jerky this is? How smooth that is. You do get some blurring on very fast images, but it's an amazing feature if you want to show a football match, people walking, somebody throwing something. So much stuff there, and so easy to do. You can also do this easily in the YouTube editor, which again is mentioned down here. So lots of really exciting things to do there. Just pause that for a second. Again, you've got filters here. These again in the YouTube editor, but you can use them here on your original film. So if I want to, what I'll do, I'll just revert to my original film again. Again, until you save or save as, you can go back. And I'll just, oops. Great when you press the wrong button. Let me come back. There we go. I'll just move the playhead into somewhere there so you can see a bit better. Just pause that. Let's go back to filters. So now I want to do perhaps not a CinemaScope, a cross process. Give that a few seconds. You can see the sort of effects and things that you can have there, original and preview. Nice to split up the screen there. You can drag that across if you want to get a better impression. Normally keep it in the center, but very useful. Remember to turn that off if you don't want it. If I want to turn that into an old-fashioned look now, again I'll move to a, actually probably a good way that, it turns it into a very old film. And just let that first few seconds run. And again, you can see the original and preview there. Okay. And if I just do that, you can see it does look like an old 1950s film there. And again, if I come down to do something silly, let's try doing a bit of glamour. Again, just to save time, move that in. And you see the difference there, sort of highlights and blurring and so on, just make it better. And of course, you can add more than one. Probably a really bad example, those two. Let's add that one and that one. So we've got like an old 8mm movie and a lo-fi. Okay, just move that across. And you tell me that wasn't filmed on standard 8 or Super 8 film in the 60s. I'll just show you the original there, very modern film. Coming across, looks like something from the 60s. And I say, if you want to add a couple of things you can do so just by clicking a couple across there. So lots of things that you can do there. I'm going to turn that off before I do anything. I'm going to revert back to my original. And then this one's very useful. This I'm not going to show you because it takes a few minutes to process, and in this film there's a lot of faces. We'll run it, but it's awkward. And the warning here, when you save it, there's a new copy and you can't revert, so just be careful. What this does, if you're filming and for some reason don't want faces to be shown, this will try very hard and blur all the faces. That does take some time, as I say, so you're not going to see that in real time. What we'll try and do, I'll just try and move it onto the Chinatown there and just split that. It's an enormous amount of processing, but trying to do that in Final Cut Pro or something would be an absolute nightmare, and it would just take hours of work masking everybody's face. Again, this is a poor quality preview there, but you can see some of the blurs as it's trying to work it out. This is probably not the best example, as the faces are very fast moving and quite small, whereas a quick preview there, if I actually did that and save it, you would see how that worked. So lots of things to do, some really nice quick fixes in there for stability, autofix, slow motion, trimming, turning it around if you use an iPhone the wrong way, increase the colour, temperature, contrast. You can play with all of these at any time. You're not happy, one button press back to where you were, but you can also save it, and you can save as a new version. It's a nice way of duplicating the film as well. If you've got a film you want an extra copy of it for some reason, you want to play with it, you just save out and give it another name. So that's all under enhancements. That's available to your existing films. And the great thing about this is that it gives you a chance to change your original films that you've already had. You know now you can do quick fixes, filters, special effects, trimming, slow motion, all these things. You've also seen you can add some music, and that's royalty free. So lots of things you can do with your old films. And remember, very importantly, that YouTube takes great note. If you change even a film that's been up on YouTube for 2 years, and you change some of the things we show in this course, then that whole film gets a whole new lease of life, and within minutes or an hour or two it can be back really highly listed, even though you originally uploaded it 2 years ago. If you're doing some work with that film, it's still very relevant, and YouTube are more than happy to relist it, often very, very high. So nice and easy enhancements, that is.